Now, my next guest has the reputation of being something of a maverick in the scientific world because in his work as an engineer and inventor, he's regarded as being somewhat unconventional. He is Professor of Heavy Engineering at Imperial College London, author of such works as Propulsion Without Wheels, The Engineering Wonderland, and The Engineer Through the Looking Glass. Among his more exotic creations, he's invented a death ray for James Bond, but he's best known for his work on the linear electric motor. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Eric Laithwaite. Eric, what exactly is a heavy engineer?
1 over 16 stone, I guess.
Yeah. Lancashire comedian. But what is a heavy engineer?
Always a man who plays with motors and generators and overhead power lines and power stations and all the big stuff. Literally the heavy mob.
And what exactly do you specialise in?
Well, linear motors, as you said, yeah. But these days I dabble in whatever interests me. That is the privilege of a professor, I hope.
Yes. You use, I mentioned in my introduction that you are unconventional, and you certainly use unconventional methods. You you have an extraordinary blend of science and ordinary everyday things, which I'd like you to sort of demonstrate for us now. I mean, you use toys, don't you, to demonstrate a scientific principle, for one thing?
Yes. The other thing is I tend to appear to mix the disciplines.
Yes.
Now, I play with spinning tops because they're like electric motors, as this one is. And in particular, here's another favourite of mine. Those are eggs, it's all right.
Yeah, that's where we're going to use those later.
This little top is an amusing fellow. It's, I believe, of Victorian origin, but it's very difficult to explain why it does what it does. That's to say, it'll turn itself over.
Right. So it turns itself up on its stem.
Yeah, so it appears to lift its centre of gravity.
Right.
And that's the wrong way, as a rule. Things usually fall and get faster. This one gets slower and rises.
Right. And what's the other curious thing about it?
Well, there's an arrow on there, and me being right-handed, when I spin it, it goes round in the direction of the arrow.
Right.
I say clockwise from above.
Right.
As it tips over, it still goes clockwise from above. Hello, you come on. It still goes clockwise from above, but you see the arrow is going the wrong way.
I see. I think so, anyway.
Now, the interesting thing...
Well, do on.
You want to see it again?
No, I don't. Huh? But I mean, what's the sort of...
Well, the point is, when was the arrow stopped? If it was going one way and it was going the other, it must have been time when it was stationary.
Yes.
There was, and it was when it was like that and going around that way.
Yes.
But what's interesting about this is about a couple of years ago, there was a scientific paper in a physics journal, I think it was American, and it was suggested, seriously, that because the Earth was not a perfect sphere, which this isn't, right?
Yes, right.
That in man's history, a large meteorite had come near enough to the Earth to make it flip over like that. Now, to the rest of the universe, that hasn't mattered because it's still going around the same as it was before.
Right.
But to anyone who lives on it, the sun now rises in the west. Now, yeah?
You mean
the arrow went
rise in the east?
You mean it did rise in the west?
It did rise in the west. I mean, when it flips over, if it flipped over now, the sun would rise in the west.
Right.
Otherwise, the rest of the universe would stay the same. Climatic conditions would be the same. And apparently there have been sufficient independent references to the sun rising in the west in biblical and pre-biblical times, in different generations, that this scientist said, hey fellas, that can't all be just coincidence, can it?
Do you mean that we're really Australians?
That's right.
But, all right, fine. Actually, before we get on... Now, I want to show you this, because this is amazing. I mean, just ignore it, but there you are.
Yeah,
We'll ignore it. Now, you've
behave yourself.
Now, here, you mentioned the eggs.
Yeah.
Now, show us what we can deduce from eggs.
Eggs?
Right, sir.
Well, you've got one hard-boiled egg and one fresh egg.
Right.
And the lady of the kitchen would like to know which is which.
How do you tell the difference?
Yeah, how do you tell the difference?
Right.
Without breaking
them. Right.
Well, you do what these things, you just spin them. Okay?
Yeah.
You get a big spin. That's a fresh one. That's a hard-boiled one.
I see. Now...
Do the fresh one again.
Yes.
Stop it.
Go on.
See, the fresh one, the minute you let go, there's fluid inside.
Yes.
And when you spun it, the fluid wouldn't go round. Because as soon as you release the shell, the fluid stops it again.
Yes. But what does that tell us then?
It tells you why you get dizzy if you turn around.
Really?
Yep. Because whether we like it,
You tell me anything. I'm so gullible.
whether we like it or not, we've all got water on the brain.
That's right.
You've got fluid in your head.
Right.
You start turning around faster, and you get the fluid going around. Then you stop. The fluid says, I'm not going to stop, and the fluid goes round, giving you the illusion that the world is still going that way around.
Yes.
You know it's standing still, and you get confused, and you get dizzy.
Right.
I don't know how skaters overcome this, but they do.
Yes.
You see them spin at enormous speed and stop, bow to the audience, not a shed.
Yeah.
So apparently you can program yourself against it.
You know why they do it, don't you? Because the head stands still and the body goes round like that.
That's right.
Just if we get rid of this, actually, we will get, because the noise is driving me crackers.
It will, yes.
But in fact, this will go on for 5.5 days.
With a new battery in.
With a new battery. In fact, that is a trick. There's a battery underneath which keeps you going. That's a kind of executive toy, isn't
Yes,
it?
it's supposed to fool people into thinking there's such a thing as perpetual motion.
Tell-
We've got to kill this one, Michael. I don't want thousands of letters after the programme about perpetual motion.
No, that's it. That's a trick.
Anyone who wants to see perpetual motion just goes out into the night on a cloudless night and look up into the heavens, and there you will see the nearest you'll ever see to perpetual motion, and let that be an end of it.
Yeah, right. All right. We won't get into that then.
You flatten the battery if you put it there.
On executive toys, of course, you've in fact... tell me that lovely thing you told me before about the executive toy that you invented, which is going to make your fortune.
Oh, yes. It occurred to me when I was doing work on electromagnetic levitation that if I could make just one super device and find a wealthy Arab and say, I promise, on the penalty of death, only ever to make one of these and not to disclose how I do it, and you give me £500,000, I could retire. And the invention was a 1 kilowatt electric fire bar that was floating a foot above the object it was supposed to be on.
Right.
And the guests could put their hands on it and see that it was on nothing. But when you think of it, Arabs don't need electric fire.
No, they don't, Eric. No.
So I never really got off the ground.
You'll have to wait till they discover oil in Iceland, or something. Get a rich Eskimo or something.
You never
like
hear of a rich Eskimo, do
that.
you?
Indeed, you don't, no. How do you go about inventing something? I mean, do you sit down and think, now, is there a need for something to be invented, or what?
There are people who do it that way. I tend to make I invent the problem first and then try to solve it. Mm-hmm. Mostly it's when I see something and say, hey, that shouldn't do that. It is exactly as I did in the Christmas lectures. It's like Alice seeing the white rabbit. She didn't take any notice of the fact it was dressed until it pulled a watch out of its pocket, and she said, that's ridiculous, and she followed it. I do it that way.
I see. Were you inventive as a child?
Yes, I had to be, because there was only me. And I had to learn games I could play against myself, as Alice did in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And I can remember one in particular. I made a cricket game, which I think will appeal to you, your batsmanship. I put up some wickets, drove a stake in the ground, cross arm, and a bat that was free to swing in front of the wickets. Piece of string on the bat, take it the length of the pitch, hold the string in your left hand, bowl the ball, it's a golf ball, bowl the ball at the wickets, and then pull the string and hit it with the bat. Mark out the grass into circles. If you go into that circle, you get 1 run, 2 runs, and a few little circular, semicircular cups. If you go in there, you're caught. And I was able to play cricket on my own.
That's confused James even more than any of that.
Well, I often think that science is a bit like an American watching cricket and saying, don't tell me, I want to find out the rules.
Yes.
And when he's learned all the rules, one day, it's been a county match and it's proceeding to a miserable draw, and the field is spread out to save the boundaries, and the batsman plays the ball in front of him, and to save the fielder's the trouble, he walks out of his crease, picks it up, and instead of throwing it to the bowler, he turns around and throws it to the wicket-keeper. And he makes a bad throw with his batting glove on, and he hits the stumps. And someone appeals, and he's given out. And the American says, I've got to figure that out. And so he looks in the paper the following morning, and this guy is given out bowled, and he shoots himself.
Who does? The guy who's done
The
it?
American.
Oh, the American, sorry. He lost me halfway through that.
Because, you see, the ball has hit his bat, then it's hit the ground, then it's hit his hand, then it's hit his wicket, and that's played on, isn't it?
Yes. Shall we forget you ever said that, Eric?
Yeah.
What do you think, in fact, Well, going back to these early inventions of yours, in fact, you've done a lot of work with children, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
How sceptical are they of inventions generally? I mean,
Not at all.
They're not?
Not as a rule, no.
Well, what kind of questions do they ask you, though?
Very searching ones.
Really? Difficult ones?
Yes.
Yes.
They'll ask you the important question. They'll ask you a question that adults will laugh at.
Yes. Like what?
Well, like, is it possible to build a ring of satellites around Mars and make it into a large wheel where people could live? And you scratch your head and say, well, I suppose it is, yeah. And adults would say, don't be stupid.
What was the question about moths that you...
Oh, yes, I used to do these Dial a Scientist programs live with Magnus Pike and Patrick Moore and the late Dr. Chris Evans. There were 4 of us, and always 3 of us available on the program. And I went on holiday. When I came back, they said, oh, you should have been here last week. We got a question from a kid we couldn't touch. And it was, what did moths feed on before there were clothes? And, you know...
It's a very good question, isn't it?
So, how many of you at home know the answer to this? And I said, oh, come on, that didn't floor you, surely. They said, no, it won't floor you, we know, but come on, was it? I said, all right. Before there were clothes, I mean, people wore skins, but when they first started to make clothes, what did they make them of? They said, cotton. I said, no, before cotton. Wool. Yeah, right, wool. Well, where did you get wool? They said, from sheep. I said, OK, the moths fed on sheep, didn't they? I said, is that right? You know? And the answer is, of course it's right. They feed on animal fur.
I see.
When we start weaving the animal fur, they say, well, that's better. They purify it for us, you know.
It's back to your health foods.
I mean, they won't eat this nylon rubbish, you know. They won't eat the real thing.
What would be, in fact, from your point of view, the most beneficial invention for mankind?
A device that would render all future generations deaf.
Deaf?
Yeah.
Why?
Stop them speaking.
Are you serious?
Yep.
I'd be out of a job.
No.
Why?
You'd have learned to communicate in a better way.
What, by thought?
Or by touch.
I like this idea better and better.
Yeah.
Touch isn't there.
Touch is not bad, huh? But no,
Well, you see, it's what other creatures do. You wouldn't have lost your sense of smell either. Now, why I'm saying this is that language, I don't mean different languages, I mean speech, has been the greatest drawback to human progress of all time, worse than the Tower of Babel.
Oh, that's nonsense.
No.
It's advanced it.
If we had eyesight that was as bad as our hearing, and I wanted to look at an audience, I'd have to start looking at the top left-hand corner and scan across a line and come down like a television, you know, 625 times across, and then start again. You'd give it up, wouldn't you? When you look at something, there are over 150,000 separate channels of communication between each eye and the brain, and 150,000 plus bits of information go bang in all at once. That's parallel communication. Now, with sound, you don't do it that way. You do it in series. All the sentences in a story have to be in the right order. It'd be silly if they were jumbled. And all the words in a sentence have to be in the right order. And people who put them in the right order most elegantly get Nobel Prizes for literature. And even the sound of a vowel like ah, you have to wait for the whole train of waves to come from my mouth to your ear before you can make out what it is. Now, I wasn't alerted to this until a friend of mine attended an international conference where every man was speaking in his own language. They had a row of interpreters' boxes. And there was a German, he said one morning, holding forth and getting really excited, and German's a great language for getting excited in. And he said there was silence for an incredibly long period, like 20 seconds. Instinctively, I looked at the box to see if our man had fainted, and there I saw a man red-faced, clutching the edge of his bench, glaring at the German, and still nothing. The Germans go down under the stifle, you know, and nothing. And eventually, this man, exasperated, he shouted into his microphone, "For God's sake, man, the verb!" Without the verb, he couldn't start to translate. That is the limitation of language. You have to hear all of it and remember it. Just think if we could carry out 16 conversations at once, not 150,000, just 16 in parallel. Just think of all the gossip you could collect that way.
Yeah,
and
I
I think the dolphins do this.
Yes.
What about music? I mean, that if we
Yes.
We're all deaf, we've missed the joy of music.
You'd get the vibration in another way. You'd develop your sense of touch. After all, music is sound. Sound is pressure.
But it's
Pressure
touch
is
in a way, isn't it?
mechanics.
Yeah, but it is touch. It's touch
It's
inside
touch,
the head.
yeah. But it's language I want to get rid of.
Oh, yeah, well, you can lie easily with language. I mean, when you're talking, it's the best way to lie. You can't lie if you're silent.
That's right.
It's hard to lie when you're touching.
So I was really sort of...
We have two philosophers here. Listen, well, but that's all right. We'll all think about that.
You think about it?
Yes, and write you when we think.
No, you don't write
Mr.
to me.
Milligan will know that.
All the letters are
Yeah.
coming to you, Michael.
All right. Now, now, what's the most startling discovery that you've made recently?
Well, it was to do with spinning objects. In particular, a certain wheel on the end of a shaft. This was first demonstrated in the Christmas lectures in 1974, and I gave a wheel half the weight of the one I'm going to show you to my son, who was then aged 9, and he was able to lift it on the end of the shaft with no difficulty at all.
Well, let's have a look at it.
I'm going to show you.
It's over here. Excuse us, you just watch this, James. It's extraordinary. This is, in fact, this is a shaft, a metal shaft attached to, that was once you said, used on a weaver's loom.
Yes, there are 2 wheels from the end of a weaver's
And
loom.
this is no kid about this. It's £50 this way. That's
Yeah. What I'm going to ask
Hernia
you
time.
to try to do is to pick it up with one hand and very gently raise it from there until your hand is up there. Now this
Well, you can't
be
do
done.
that like that.
No.
No.
But when I spin it, it becomes a different object.
Yes.
And I'm going to lift it this way, not vertically, but round in a circle.
Right.
Now, as you know, if you start swinging things in circles, centrifugal force is going to pull you over the stage. So that seems like a dangerous thing to do.
You might take off into the audience.
Yeah, I must insist in showing the viewers this, that I don't want anyone to make one of these and try it on their own.
No, right.
When that is spinning from an ordinary household drill, 2,400 RPM, it has enough energy to throw that 50-pound weight 200 feet in the air if we drop it.
What's the, before you start this, before Cliff puts the spins on it,
Yeah.
what's the highest that's been picked normally? I mean, how high could you lift that without it spinning? Just to give an idea.
Oh,
how
yes,
heavy it is.
I mean, I can only go about so
That's-
far.
that's as high as-
You come to that funny point and that's it.
All right, fine. Okay, then. So, Cliff, if
Right,
you could...
so now you'll
stick
make it into a live object,
And how many revs do you get up to?
2,400.
Is that just because that's as much as that will
That's
give
much
it?
that'll do, yeah. But I want you to notice there's no strain on my face during the lifting because there's no effort required.
The strain of mine, I'm terrified of that bloody thing, I'll tell you.
Oh, you know. You can do it too. Okay. Okay, we're right, it's fit. Notice there's no effort required whatever, you just lift it up. Once more. Straight up. Like, would you like to walk round with it? Just one hand will do. There you go, that's it.
Astonishing.
Now try making it go faster, turning it round.
What?
Yeah,
Like that?
that's it. Faster, up it goes. Try to turn it backwards. Try to turn it back. I can't turn it backwards. Oh, it
Right,
gets
you can't.
heavier when it's going
You
backwards.
can't turn it back.
Great difficulty. That way, yeah.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
We're taking Max.
So,
So you see, you can do it too.
so what's the... So, I mean, that's just astonishing as a... Let's sit down. As a
That's just a trick.
No, it's not just a trick. I mean, I know you. I mean, it is impressive as a trick.
Yes.
But it is sort of weightless when it starts spinning. You can't pick it up before that. I mean, does that have any significance beyond what we've just seen? I mean, if you
Yes, I think it does. I think it points the way to movement through space without rockets.
really.
Flying saucer-like spinning objects.
You said that, I didn't.
Well, no, I asked.
I don't want letters
say
about
anything.
UFOs.
No, why not? Why not? I would.
But because they got to be answered.
Oh, well.
But that's what it could be used in space exploration, space propulsion, could it?
Yes, we should become true astronauts with that and go. See, we can only go inwards to the sun. We can go to Mercury, Venus, Mars. going outwards, you could never get back.
Yes.
But if you could propel without rockets, you could go as far as you liked.
Have you got any interest in the space program beyond the normal?
Yes, as a matter of fact, as unlikely a place as the Tramway Museum in Derbyshire bought 2 cubic feet of space in the space shuttle that goes up in 83.
Really?
And I'm going to do a gyroscopic experiment like that in outer space, and then the critics have to listen.
Then you'll, yeah, right.
When they see something moving in space, not about its mass centre, then you have to start rewriting the physics book.
And then, of course, I mean, that will make that single bar you made for the Arab look like peanuts. doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Eh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, make a
This
bob-
is the most exciting thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
That's great.
Eric Laithwaite, we await the results with interest. Thank you very much indeed for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you.